brand new live edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you until 9 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. Welcome back into the show. Safe travels into work wherever you may be headed. I assume school's out by now, so safe travels into wherever you may be headed on this Tuesday morning. A lot of stuff to get to. As always, the phone lines are open to you, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And for the first time in 24 years, they only needed a 16-hour lightning delay to get it done. But the Auburn Tigers do knock off UCLA yesterday, 11-4, to advance to a super regional. The only problem is Vanderbilt could not come through for the Auburn Tigers yesterday. They fall to Oregon State, so that means Auburn traveling out to Corvallis to take on the Beavers. But nonetheless, Auburn's through to a super regional.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they eased through it, and it was supposed to be a tough regional, one of the tougher fields, but it certainly wasn't because of how the high level that Auburn played. And, I got to give them a lot of credit. They regional MVP Brody Moore, the shortstop, who swung such a hot bat, and really they swung a great bat up and down the lineup. That was the key. It took so much pressure off their pitching. Mason Barnett was tremendous in the championship game. Of course, he didn't finish the game because of the weather delay. He pitched into the sixth inning, but you got to give him a lot of credit. No doubt about it. Gonzalez was really good too, who started game two. So Auburn, it was a tremendous performance for their ball club. Nate LaRue, who got his bat going during the regional, just like they all did. Outstanding catcher from McGill-Tulane. He makes all tournament. Sonny DeShera, who's SEC Player of the Year, the Samford transfer, first baseman. He's first team all regional. Foster as well at second base for Auburn. And we already talked about Brody Moore. And then Kason Howell, center fielder, great tournament as well. And Brooks Carlson, who did an outstanding job at DH. So Auburn dominated the regional all-tournament team as they should have. And again,
they outscored their opponents 51-18.
Yeah,
in the series.
They swung the bats as well as anyone in that regional, no doubt about it, and played as well, and really had no problems going 3-0. And so, it was good to see him finish it off. And as you said, nearly got an opportunity to continue the unbelievable environment at Plainsman's Park, but Vandy came up just short against the third national seed, Oregon State. And so Oregon State, the Beavers, who've had one heck of a year, are going to host Auburn in Corvallis. Tough, road trip for Auburn, but the way they're playing, they shouldn't be afraid of anyone. As Butch Thompson said, I know in Zone Center you replayed his comments, but, this team is 5 wins away from a national championship and third super regional in 5 years, which is an unbelievable accomplishment. Trying to go also their second trip to Omaha in 5 years. So Butch Thompson, what a bounce-back year. Last year, the pitching injuries really robbed their ball club, and they didn't make postseason, but they certainly have this season. And they're the best baseball program definitely in the state of Alabama. And he and Tim Hudson, Gabe Gross, great staff over there, Carl Nonamaker. They've done a great job rebuilding Auburn baseball.
All right, here's a little Butch Thompson.
Starting pitching shows up like that. I look at a team and what it would take to win a national championship. We got a catcher that can throw the baseball as good as anybody I've seen. His arm is part of the game. It can impact it. We got a first baseman that absolutely is a threat. They got to figure out if they're going to pitch to him or what to do with him, and I can see them start doing it when it's 2 or 3 batters away. That's a threat for college baseball. That is what the best teams are looking for. A second baseman that's come back and getting Cole Foster back in there at second base was absolutely instrumental to getting us off to a good start. And he made a heck of a defensive play, too. I think about that one going in the 4-hole and spinning a 360 high level. We just talked about Brody. Round Bush is going to close in on 100 hits here soon, what he's done. Kason Howell defensively, Bobby hitting behind Sonny. Mike Bello, man, you got a freshman just sitting there competing his heart out, and every time he gets on base and keeps contributing, flips that lineup over and gets you right back. This was one of those offensive weekends where if I was on the other side, because I've definitely had some like that, being on the other side where it's like, golly, Rambush is up every inning, and here you got to walk right back through that. That happened over and over, and I could feel that and sense that. And I think it's been a little slow outside of Joseph, but I think we're growing. And if we can get some kind of competitiveness with these three starting pitchers, and I'm tracking on Skipper and Burkhalter now. Can they get back to their form of where they were in the middle of the season, like when they threw all three games in the sweep against South Carolina? If I could get them back, I'm like, what are you asking for to go and try to compete for a national championship? So I have to be careful not to sell our team short. We're 5 teams away from a national championship. So to win a national championship, you got to go regional, super regional, regional, super regional. So it's only one step. But now only one team keeps us from Omaha. Once you get to Omaha, there's only 4. I know there's 8 teams out there, but that's bracketed on 2 sides, and it's a regional, and then it gets back to a super regional in the championship series, the best 2 out of 3. So there's really only 5 teams that could potentially, 4 or 5, depending on if you have to play every team in the regional like we did here in that first segment. So it's national championship or bust.
There's Auburn head coach Butch Thompson kind of breaking it down, making it sound simple when it comes to what's left. Really, not just for the Auburn Tigers, Drew, but 5 SEC teams, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Arkansas, and Ole Miss. Kind of broke it down very simple. Super regional, regional, super regional is what's left for these teams that lie ahead.
Yeah, you're just 2 wins away from Omaha, so that's the way you have to approach it. And again, baseball is such a funny game because the Atlanta Braves, for the majority of the Major League season last year, were not the best team. And so they made some trades and redid their outfield and then got hot at the right time. And perhaps this Auburn team is getting hot at the right time because that's what it's about in baseball. Look, I know Tennessee's 56-7 or whatnot and has been the number 1 team in America all year. The last time the number 1 team in the country won it all going into the postseason was the 1999 Miami Hurricanes under Jim Morris. It doesn't happen very often, so we'll see if Tennessee can do it. Tennessee has got a hell of a ball club. A lot of people, including Jason Caldwell, came on this show who covers Butch Thompson as well as anybody, covered that series against Tennessee, which I believe the Vols won 2 out of 3 over Auburn, and said that Tennessee, in his mind, was as talented as any team he'd ever seen in college baseball from the standpoint of their lineup and their pitching staff. It's not every day you got a guy throwing 104. So they're extremely physically talented. But right now, Auburn's on a roll. They certainly are very, very confident in what they're doing. And it's funny because you never know when the switch is going to flip because Auburn they were one and done in the SEC tournament. And as Brian Matthews told us on the show yesterday, I want to say over their last 7 or 8 conference games – going into
7,
the regional, they were hitting like 233.
Yeah,
so
they weren't swinging the bat very well.
They weren't swinging the bat well at all, and so all of a sudden you get red hot. We'll see if it can continue against Oregon State, who's very talented in their own right. But again, it was a pretty good day for the SEC. Though I will say Florida kind of collapsed late. It looked like they were up 3-1 on Oklahoma, I believe, in the 8th inning, and then kind of collapsed and lost 5-4. So that was disappointing. We already talked about Vanderbilt's one-run loss, and then LSU came up a run short as well, 8-7 against Southern Miss. But still, the SEC flexed their muscles pretty well during all these regionals, and what a lot of great games it was. I mean, I was even up late last night because of Texas State and Stanford, and Texas State comes out of the Sun Belt, Scott. Sun Belt had probably their strongest year ever. I believe they had 4 squads get into the regionals, and Texas State won nearly 50 games, and they were up 3-1. going into the bottom of the ninth against Stanford. But this is the time of the year, and Stanford hits 2 home runs back-to-back to tie it, and then walks it off later in the bottom of the ninth to win it 4-3. So you just never know. And so the number 2 national seed, Stanford, will now take on another Cinderella in UConn. UConn taking out the overrated Big Ten, shocker. Maryland chokes on sauce and doesn't get out of there. But we're not used to Big Ten. I mean, Michigan a couple years ago made that Cinderella run to the finals.
Right.
But we're not used to Big Ten baseball being that good. So, but it was, I think, the first time in 11 years that UConn won a regional since the days of George Springer, the great major leaguer. So, again, shout out to my guy Aaron Torres, a good friend of mine from Fox Sports Radio. He's a UConn grad, and great run for the 3-seed UConn. Now they get to go to number 2 seed, national seed Stanford. So, but again, and I'm looking forward to that Southern Miss at Pete Taylor Park. They're going to take on Ole Miss because I'll be blunt. Ole Miss was number 1 in the country earlier in the year, but had a lot of injuries and really kind of underperformed and didn't have a great run in Hoover. I didn't think they deserved to get in. And Alabama and Kentucky certainly didn't get in, and they both made better runs in Hoover, and I thought in some ways could have better resumes. But Ole Miss was one of the last 4 in. Got to give them credit. They went over to Coral Gables and just absolutely played great baseball and saved their best for last yesterday, just annihilating Arizona 22-6 for some revenge last year because I believe in the Supers, Ole Miss lost at Arizona last year. So Mike Bianco's team, it's one of those things where earlier in the year everybody thought they were good enough to be number 1. Well, now they're playing like it, and now they're going to go to Pete Taylor Park and take on Scott Berry and USM. Should be one hell of a super regional. So these super regional matchups are pretty intriguing.
All right, so there's your NCAA, I want to say Major League, NCAA baseball updates. Plenty of baseball going to get back underway this weekend with NCAA Super Regionals. 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And while you were gone, we had Josh Pate on the show.
Yeah.
And because we got his thoughts on Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M and everything that went on there. And he had some interesting comments, interesting things to say about the situation. Well, Josh Pate on 24/7 Sports has given us his upset alert games for the college football season. A couple of them are in the SEC, ones that he thinks could definitely happen. He thinks West Virginia is going to upset Pittsburgh on September 1st.
Backyard brawl kind of deal.
He thinks BYU on October 8th in Las Vegas, will upset Notre Dame.
Interesting.
Thinks that one will go. The interesting one, a couple of them are Boston College on October 8th upsets Clemson. And then he has on October 1st, Mississippi State in Starkville upsetting Texas A&M.
I'm not surprised. Too many mercenaries, man. By then, some of them are going to be wanting checks. So probably be more worried about money than playing. And it wouldn't shock me. I mean, look, the Pirate already handed Dirt Neck his ass last year on his home field. So I'll say it again.
He says it's because it's a 4-game
I think I said
stretch.
this on the drive, and I meant it. I will not root for Texas A&M in any game. Okay? I hope they go 0-12.
It's a 4-game stretch that sees them play Miami at home, Arkansas in Dallas, then they play in Starkville, then they got a trip to Bama.
Yeah, I mean, after what Dirt Neck said about, the guy that he owes his career to and basically accused him of cheating, which is a joke because the only one cheating is the one yelling, and that's and again, it's not really cheating right now, but it is unethical. I'm sorry. That's basically what they're doing. They're buying players. Just call it what it is, you jackasses, okay? That's what it is. I'm not rooting for Dirt Neck in any game. I hope they go 0-12. So I hope Auburn gets them, Mississippi State, everybody. I'd like to see them go 0-12, get fired, and end up at Rent-A-Center. But I mean, I don't think that'll happen.
Realistically, they're not going to go 0-12.
No, they're not. They're not. Of course not.
No.
Because Dirk Neck said the other day, he valued the FCS games on the schedules because his team might actually show up and win.
He's a favor of the 1-7 model.
Of course,
the
that's not what
model.
you need to do. You need to do 3 and 6 because I mean, I can't help it if you're scared, Coach. But that's what you need to do because you're probably afraid that you're going to be what you are, which is a 4 and 5 loss coach. So
didn't they have their best season under him under just an all SEC schedule?
That was luck. No. That's all I'll say. And Alabama won by 30, so it doesn't really matter. They were a distant second. And guess what?
So
nobody remembers who finished second. Nobody. Who cares?
So I'm going to bring this up because
loser.
On the Paul Feinbaum Show, which you can hear weekdays here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, they debated yesterday, and the callers debated, putting Brian Kelly in the top 5 of college football coaches. Is Brian Kelly in the top 5 when it comes to college football?
He's better
coaches?
than Jimbo. I don't give a damn if he hadn't won a national championship.
So
I don't care.
Where would you land Jimbo since Jimbo is your hot topic and because of everything that has gone on? Would you put Jimbo inside the top 7?
Because look, man,
he does have a national champ. Because
Gus led 21-3 and choked.
But how much has your attitude towards Jimbo Fisher changed since all of this went down?
Not really much, because I told you I hated him before. I did not like him before he, proved beyond a shadow of a doubt what kind of person he is, which is a scumbag.
So would you put Brian Kelly in the top 5 and take out a Jimbo Fisher because Brian Kelly does not?
I don't know if Brian Kelly's in the top 5, but I'm rating him ahead of Jimbo because Jimbo ain't anywhere near my top 5. Okay, because I'm sorry.
Without a national championship,
no.
Brian Kelly ahead of Jimbo Fisher.
No, sorry, he's nowhere close. I mean, I guess you could say he's above Sark in the state of Texas because Sark has never done a ton as a head coach.
Okay.
And they don't play each other, so unfortunately Sark doesn't get a chance to whip him. But again, and at least until they get to the SEC, maybe by then Jimbo will still have his job, probably will, but probably be on the hot seat. But again, I just don't – I think Jimbo is one of the most viciously overrated coaches, and that was before he shot his mouth off, to where I hope they go 0-12. But again, I don't think Jimbo is that good. I think he's overrated. I think it's typical overspending by Texas A&M because they want to win. I understand. They're hungry to win. I respect that. But I just think they hired the wrong coach because, again, Florida State, Bobby Bowden built one of the best programs ever. Now, understandably, by the time he was getting ready to retire, it had slipped a little bit. But still, Bobby Bowden didn't leave it in rubble. And Jimbo Fisher left Florida State in rubble because he's a piece of trash.
So you got Nick Saban. So within the league, Nick Saban is number 1. Kirby Smart, you would say, would be number 2 right now. Do you put Jimbo even in the top 5 in the league?
No. Not with who's joined it. I mean,
Well, currently, as it stands, because he can't, Texas and Oklahoma aren't in there yet.
No.
So, would you rather gamble on Mark Stoops or Jimbo Fisher?
Oh, Mark Stoops is – Jimbo couldn't do at Kentucky what Mark Stoops has done. There's no way – he would fall flat on his face and go to basketball practice. There's no way he would go 6-6, 5-7 every year and then get fired. Okay, there's no way that he would be able to do at Kentucky what Mark Stoops has done.
So we would go Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, then probably a Brian Kelly or a Mark Stoops for 3 and 4.
Well, don't forget, Billy Napier's a better coach than him too. I don't care if he hadn't won a national championship.
Billy Napier hasn't done anything in the SEC though.
Yeah, he will. I can't wait till they play Texas A&M. That's going to be funny because I think it'll be a coaching mismatch because I'm sorry. Look, man, what I'm saying is Jimbo Fisher got lucky to win a national championship at Florida State. It's just like Ed Ogeron. Do I think Ed Ogeron's some elite coach because he had some elite football team and got lucky with a horseshoe up his ass and won a national championship? No, he's already been fired. Okay?
Right.
Jimbo Fisher's in the same category. You're not an elite coach just because you win one national championship because you got lucky. Okay? Sorry. Because Crab Legs was your quarterback. Who cares? I mean, he had one great year, and then since then, he hasn't done anything either except throw 30 interceptions in the NFL. He threw nearly 30 in his last year at Florida State when Jimbo had no discipline in his program. Okay? Sorry, he didn't. He didn't have any discipline at all. So I don't think he's going to have any discipline at Texas A&M. I know he tries to ride kids, but when you have a bunch of mercenaries who basically have been bought, they're not going to listen to you half the time. You better win every game, because if you don't and your coaching staff chokes like his does a lot of times, you're not gonna get anything out of it, bro.
Right. We can continue this because it's 7:23. Chad, what were you gonna add?
I was just gonna say I hope Mark from Huntsville would called in today, because you guys missed it when they were on Paul Feinbaum. He called in,
Yeah.
and Steve and I were listening to him, and he rattled off all the coaches he thought were better, I believe, than Brian Kelly. He put Jimbo Fisher in the list, but then he couldn't remember the guy from Florida, so he said the guy from Florida, and it was a great exchange between them. So I wish Mark from Huntsville would call in and kind of defend himself on what he believes is the best 5 coaches in the SEC, I guess.
We'll see.
It's an interesting thing because you start to look at it, and okay, you keep moving Jimbo Fisher down. But would you rather trust your program with Lane Kiffin or Jimbo Fisher?
And everybody knows I'm not the biggest Lane Kiffin fan because he takes a lot of chances. But I will say this: in a one-shot deal,
right,
I would take Lane over Jimbo. He's already whipped him last year, so again, he already coached circles around him, and I don't think Lane necessarily is an elite head coach either.
Right.
But if I'm taking a one-shot deal to win one game, I'm not taking Jimbo.
Which one's better at developing at quarterback?
Well,
because that is the whole thing with Jimbo Fisher, is that he is supposed to develop quarterbacks. So
I would
Lane
guess
Kiffin the same way.
Probably Jimbo, though I will say, when you're talking about developing quarterbacks, I know they have been productive in college. None of Jimbo's have been great pros, including Jameis Winston. He's holding on for dear life trying to be the QB of the New Orleans Saints, but he's already played himself out of a job in Tampa after being the number 1 overall pick. And Lane is more, I've always said this, Lane is not a quarterback developer. He's more of a designer of offense, identifying playmakers and putting you in a position to succeed. I do think he's a better play caller than Jimbo. I guess you could say Jimbo is a quarterback developer, but again, I think he's overrated in that regard too, because again, most of his QBs don't go on to the pro level and become great. So I don't think either one of them are really quarterback developers. But if I had to rate one ahead of the other, I guess I would rate Jimbo because his quarterbacks have been drafted higher than someone's like Lane Kiffin's. But again, I think Lane Kiffin does more with less.
Yeah.
Because, Jimbo's been at Florida State. Lane was at USC, but you have to say but. He was there when they were coming off the probation of Pete Carroll. It wasn't the same situation. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you give them close to the same talent and they're coaching against each other, and I'm talking about Lane Kiffin and Jimbo Fisher, Lane is going to win. Lane is going to win most of the time.
All right, let's go to Johnny on his cell this morning. Good morning, Johnny.
It is so nice to hear somebody bash Jimbo the way I like to bash him.
I'm not afraid. I'm sorry. I've got friends there.
I think, and I love Texas A&M is going to get their butt kicked when they come to Tuscaloosa. We're going to lay such a large number on Jimbo. He won't be able to raise his head when he gets back to the Texas oil fields. They're going to say, "What happened, Jimbo? We just gave you all the money you said you needed to beat them boys, and they just beat you like a rented mule." They're going to hurt his feelings this year. he's going to wish he'd, like I said, these.
You there, Johnny?
On you kind of thing. Okay, bud, you just run your gap and see what Saban does to your sorry tail. I can't wait for that beatdown that's coming to ATM.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of why he's crawfishing and backtracking, and because Sankey didn't want it to continue. And really, Saban wasn't going to continue it. He said it one time, and that was going to be it.
But Saban said it in front of a bunch of dudes that have deep pockets, and he's saying, hey, guys, reach into your pocket and throw me some jacks so I can go make sure we stay where we want to be. You got to – I mean, you know what room he was in. I mean, I get it. That, things get out and media reports this and that, but Saban's doing what Saban's got to do to keep his program on top.
Right.
And, he's just saying, hey, guys, you all got deep pockets. You see the landscape of the land. Money is what's putting these kids – because let's face it, if Jimbo Fisher thinks that he can tell the world these guys came to ATM because we just out-recruited everybody. It came to ATM because their pockets were deeper at the time. And to say that the NIL had zero to do with him getting more 5-stars in one class than he had in the previous 5 years, then pee in my ear and tell me it's raining, because I don't buy it.
Oh, nobody does. Everybody's got common sense.
Well, I mean, not for him to every time someone says that nobody's saying that he did something illegal. But he acts like that's his first line of defense. You're trying to say we did something outside of bounds. Nobody says he did it outside the bounds. All we're saying is the money is what put those kids in your program, not your ability to recruit.
And not his ability to coach.
When it comes to quarterback, you have to also look at their offensive as Dave's offensive coordinator. And Kiffin's quarterback far outperformed Jimbo's quarterback.
Well, Jimbo's offense is archaic.
Well, Kiffin, I said, you can put Jimbo wherever you want on the list, but I believe Kiffin will kick his tail again this year, because Kiffin's done a really good job in the portal. And if there's one dude in the conference that I feel like can turn, can for a one-game thing with his offense, Kiffin's defense, even though he grew up in a defensive family, he's not been able to coach it. He hasn't had a team yet that was really good defensively. But I'll say this, he's an offensive creativity dude, and I believe he would coach circles around Dumbo.
All right, Johnny, thanks for the phone call, buddy.
Thank you, Johnny.
We've got to get a break in. We're way behind. I know we got callers holding. Please stay holding. We're going to get to you right after this quick message.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Outdoor season is coming. Can't wait.
Here at Brooks & Collier, neither can we. Outdoor season is also grilling season.
And we have plenty of grills and smokers in stock. From Traeger, Blaze, and Big Green Egg.
There's the greenhouse, new indoor items and home furnishings as well.
Whatever it takes. Browse over 2 acres of furnishings. Can't wait.
How about you? North Alabama's indoor and outdoor living headquarters for over 75 years.
813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
Whoa, Greg's up.
He's never up this early.
Hey, guys. Okay, so this is called a Bell Breakfast Box from Taco Bell. Oh, thanks. I can read.
And that's a coffee. Helps you open your eyes.
And that's a breakfast burrito. You can start from either end.
You guys always this condescending in the morning?
Pretty much.
Wake up with the new $5 Bell Breakfast Box, filled with a grande toasted breakfast burrito, hash brown, 2 Cinnabon Delights, and a coffee. At limited participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only. Contact local store for prices, hours, and participation, which vary. Tax extra. Drinks excludes freezes.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Got a wreck on the Parkway southbound just before Clinton, just south of 565. It's off to the side of the road. The 2 trucks that were in the traffic lane in that same area have gone now. Everything else looks good at this point. You be careful on that ride in this morning. Great summer start with overnight or day camp at Camp Chalky on Lake Guntersville. Kayak, zip line, go on the giant swing or the blob. Chalky.org, or you could just call the Y for info. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane, Popeye's Skywatch Traffic Center.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 977 ESPN The Zone.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to Talking Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Let's get right back out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Wolverine Dan with us right out of the break. Good morning, sir.
Well, good morning, gentlemen. The Jimbo topic is good for sports talk because it's something to talk about at a really slow part of the year. But, gentlemen, the purity of the game is lost. When you start paying players and it ends up by going wrong. And anytime you follow the money, it's corrupt. It is what it is. It's a shame. I mean, you would think you'd have some kind of regulation, at least say with the money being dispersed to these players. You can't touch this money until you have that diploma in your hand. It's very simple. We're the adults. They're the children still. They're majority of them, they're in the teens, fellas. And tell me what I'm saying ain't right.
Well, I mean, I agree with part of that. I mean, certainly I do agree that they definitely don't deserve it out of high school. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you got to go. You got to earn it. I do think that they deserve a piece of the pie. And if you go out and you produce and somebody wants to sign you, and they do allow you to have representation now, and that representation can help you, then yes, you deserve a piece of that. And again, I think the majority still aren't going to see that kind of big money. The only millionaires are going to be these, the Bryce Youngs and the skill guys and people of that nature when they regulate it. And that now, right now, Texas ATM, people like that, they're throwing money at everybody and giving. It doesn't really matter what position, they're giving them big bucks. And it's what you kind of referenced, Dan. It's a house of cards. It's eventually going to crumble because you followed college football enough yourself. In college athletics as a whole, a lot of kids bust. You know, they don't end up being a big-time player. A great example I'll give you, I don't know if you remember him from years ago, but I think he came out about the same time as LeBron did. But there was a dude named Lenny Cook who came out of New York that everybody said was going to be a superstar in the NBA, was going to be a great player, and going to be an All-American, and he never did a thing on the college level. Never. And then never really did much in the pros because, again, didn't have the right people around him, didn't handle the notoriety correctly. And so that's going to eventually happen. Now, what I think is going to happen, you kind of referenced it as well, is it's going to end up being regulated. It has to. And Dan, I know you're a big NFL guy too. I said this yesterday on the show. It's like when all these 8, 9, 10-year vets who have grinded and earned their money got tired of all these rookies making more than them and coming in and like a Sam Bradford making $50 million when he'd never even taken a snap. So they got sick and tired of it, and they ended up with a rookie salary cap. Something's going to happen with NIL. They're going to do that, and then that's when guys like Dirtneck Fisher are going to have to come up with another plan. But it's going to be interesting. But I agree with you. I mean, it's a house of cards that's going to crumble because you can't be paying kids out of high school who have not done a damn thing on the college level that kind of money.
Yeah, I mean,
well, let's real quickly, and we'll switch gears. That's why I watch playoff hockey. It's pure. The players are not prima donnas. They play as a team. And, gentlemen, the one thing that you ain't going to see now for the rest of the playoffs, which is sad, to see a nation in a hockey stadium, halfway through their national anthem, the gentleman that was doing the singing by himself stopped singing, and the rest of the way the song is sung by the people, and they know the words to their national anthem. That's patriotism. We're losing that. We're losing a lot of things. And, fellas, quite frankly, being retired, I have a lot of time to see this, and it's making me sick to my stomach. I'm tired of this, guys. I want it the way it used to be, where you shook somebody's hand and you are a real human being. And that's why I moved to Alabama 24 years ago, the greatest state in the nation, but I don't like the football team.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Dan.
it.
Roll Tide, brother.
So a couple names come to mind, and imagine coming out of high school, these individuals, how much they would have gotten. A Jeremy Johnson from Auburn, because he came out of high school and everybody thought he was going to, he had it to be the Heisman. He would have garnered some 5-star. Think of like an Antonio Alfano from Alabama that came out of high school, highly decorated, would have garnered name, image, and likeness money. They don't end up like they ended up in college. I mean, they don't end up.
I'm still going to say this about Alabama. I'll still be surprised. And, again, they're going to set guys up, and they're going to let you sign with high tide traditions and all that. But I'm still going to be surprised if Alabama pays many kids huge dollars coming out of high school because, again, it's just not sustainable. Nick Saban has repeatedly talked about how it affects your locker room, and that's what he's talking about because these prima donnas, and that's what they are.
Right.
Like Nico Iamaleava at Tennessee. Now, Tennessee has stunk. Let's be honest with you. They have not been good. They've had a couple of fits and starts under the champion of life, Butch Jones, where they had some top 5 recruiting classes, won 9 or 10 games. But what I mean is they have not come close to winning an SEC championship since their last one in 1997, or excuse me, also 1998 because they won the national championship, 97 and 98. And then they played for one in 01, okay? Because they upset Florida in the swamp, and then Nick Saban handed them their ass in the SEC championship game. When if they won, they would have played for another national title under Philip Fulmer. But again, if you go back since then, Tennessee really hasn't come close to winning any kind of championship in football. So again, they're using this window with NIL trying to buy a recruiting class if you follow it. I mean, they're throwing money at all these kids and trying to get them to come to Tennessee. And they have a rabid fan base. They have tradition, but they have not had a lot of success. And so they're trying to recreate it. But I'm just telling you, what if Nico Iamaleava busts?
Right.
What if he doesn't end up in these guys that have paid this $8 million, allegedly, we don't know for a fact.
It's all
that,
alleged right now. Yes.
Yeah, no, but again, it's going to crumble. And Nico Iamaleava's coming in, and he's going to be coming into that locker room expected to be the starting quarterback probably as a freshman because of the money he's being paid. And that's what Nick Saban's talking about, because there are going to be some upperclassmen that resent the guy. Because, look, man, he hadn't made a play. And then what if he goes out here in practice and starts throwing interceptions, okay? And the guy is getting paid, and he may just say, to hell with it. I don't care if I'm practicing all that good. I'm making $8 million. They can't, they've already paid me. That's why it's not sustainable. Right. You can't do that. And so that's what I'm going to be fascinated with. And that's why Nick Saban, to me, it's the biggest challenge. I was on another radio station in another town yesterday, and I'll just say this. I'll say it, Tuscaloosa. I was on Tide 109, Ryan Fowler, great friend of our show, and he asked me this. He said, is it Nick Saban's biggest challenge of his career? And I think it is, because, look, the biggest key, Scott, in being good every year is recruiting. You have to be able to get players. And
ask Dan Mullen how recruiting and
and that's a great point too, because Dan Mullen did not recruit well enough at Florida.
Right.
But now some of these schools that have sucked for a long time, like Texas A&M, been mediocre. Now they did win some Southwest Conference titles, but do you think anybody gives a damn? No. But anyway, they haven't won. I'm talking about national championships, and so and Tennessee has sucked for a long time. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to basically go out and buy a championship. They're trying to go out and buy enough players where they can beat an Alabama and win a championship, because they sure as hell can't outcoach them. They have no chance. And so they're going out here trying to buy players. And so that's what they're doing. And so until they regulate it, they're going to continue to take advantage of the system. But we'll see if they can still motivate players, develop players, and still beat them. Because, again, I think Nick Saban's a better coach than Josh Heupel. Sorry, he is. You can just look at the results. He's a better coach than Jimbo Fisher, but you also have to have the best players. And so these two schools are going out there trying to buy enough great players to try to beat an Alabama, and they're trying to take advantage, thinking Nick Saban's on the last leg of his career, which he is, no matter what. But it's going to be interesting and fascinating to me to see how Nick Saban handles this biggest challenge of his career, NIL, and trying to still get enough great talent to stay on top.
All right, let's get to Bama Bino real fast on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Good morning, sir.
Hey, guys. Hope y'all are doing well. As usual, I'm just going to tell the truth. Y'all got the best show on that I've ever heard. The greatest network, the Drive at 5, and the morning talk show y'all have. Y'all just know what you're talking about. And they need to pattern every show after y'all. You know what you're doing. And I love you guys.
Appreciate it,
Thank
Bama
you for
Bino.
the kind words, yes.
What I was going to comment on a couple of things, but I got to back that Wolverine down up. Listen, it starts with freedom, and that hadn't moved to the South yet on the kneeling with the national anthem and all that. That's crap. That's just the left trying to distract, and when if it was to ever come to that, you'll see 700 people in a 100,000 stadium. That ain't gonna happen down here. You've got to have respect for why we have the ability to support Alabama or Auburn, first of all. And so that's all I'm going to say about that. But, NIL was created for an image you already earned. It wasn't created to lure players of a potential they might earn. Nobody knows their name yet. As far as what they've earned on the football field in college, but we did this because California done it, and if we did everything California did, my God, we'd be in China. So, I mean, why did we have to do that anyway? I just don't understand why we had to do it because California did it. But anyway, I enjoyed watching some of the baseball games. That's some esprit de corps camaraderie right there. People need to watch that right there. People just going behind their community, and I love to see teamwork. I love college sports because it hadn't relegated to second-class behavior like the pros had. And I think that it's more popular definitely in the South because of that. But I think probably overall anyway, I don't know a lot of people that watch these pro games. I know y'all got to cover it because y'all are a sports station, but I just don't get in it because it's all about me and not us. But anyway, the NIL was created, in my opinion, if you're going to do it, it's what you've earned as a name, image, and likeness on the college football field. Not all county, all area, all state, and high school. And so, but you know, if they're going to play that game, Saban can probably play that game. And I wouldn't have took on Superman's cape because, like that dude said that called in a couple of calls ago, it's probably not going to be too pretty in Tuscaloosa because, hey, without 2 or 3 injuries last year, we would have had another one. So, you know, the top man's still the top man.
Yes. All right, Bam Bambino, thanks for the call, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
All righty.
All right, thanks. Great call there. Let's get a break in. When we come back, we're going to wrap up hour 1 of Talkin' Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The best place to get 50s diner-style homemade delectables is Bubby's Diner. Located at 8412 Whitesburg Drive Southeast, try their all-new expanded breakfast menu with homemade waffles, omelets, and shrimp and grits. With 3 generations of experience, Chris Bubby Belcher has the best burgers in town. Don't forget to leave without a homemade pie or a hand-spun milkshake. Get a $50 gift certificate for $25 right now at Bubby's Diner, home of the donut burger.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on 2 services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The Atlanta Braves are back on the field, and this reloaded roster is fired up to defend their crown and run it back in 2022.
1-2 coming. Crushed. Left field. Auto line. That ball is out of here. 2-run home run for Austin Riley.
Tonight, the Braves are back in town as Matt Olson faces his former team in Atlanta in a big interleague battle with the Oakland A's. Braves Radio's on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
Good morning. Got a couple of wrecks in Priceville now. I got one on 67 near the I-65 interchange. Got another one on the ramp coming off I-65 northbound at Priceville. And we got one southbound on the Parkway just south of 565. It's off to the right. It's being reported as no injury. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
This segment of Talk